Your teenage child has been diagnosed with functional neurological disorder, short for FND, and you as a parent, how are you parenting your child while your child is in pain and struggling? Hi, my name is Dr. Lee. I'm a pediatric psychologist and chronic pain survivor myself. My mission is to help teens and their parents resolve persistent physical symptoms such as chronic pain and FND so that they can get their life back and feel like normal again. Because I truly believe that every teen who's struggling with chronic pain or FND deserves so much more in their lives. If you're new to this channel, welcome, and make sure to grab a free PDF parenting guide on how to help your child at home who is struggling with chronic pain and FND. It's completely free and there are 8 steps that you can take to help your child, so make sure to grab the form today. So today's video is about you parents. And in fact, this YouTube channel is really about parents who are caregivers of the teens who are struggling with FND and chronic pain. So let's talk about parenting. So here is a general tendency of parenting shift or continuation when your teen is struggling with FND. That is, you guys are likely to be either passive or becoming more permissive, which means kind of letting things slide. Like if your child is struggling, you would be more inclined to have a leeway about your expectations and letting things slide and have a little bit loosey-goosey rules because likely you feel bad. You feel bad for your child who is struggling in pain and fainting and having these seizure-like symptoms or legs not moving and can't go to school and having hard time with life in general. So why add one more thing that is hard for your child? That is 1000% of the parents that I work with whose child has been diagnosed with FND because they're good parents and they don't know how to parent when their child is struggling with FND, and therefore they feel like they're walking on eggshells and not knowing how to set the boundaries and expectations. So in a way, they feel frustrated and powerless because they don't have the guidance on how to parent. And most likely, the doctors who are working with this child's FND conditions don't really give that kind of guidance to the parents. So I am here to give you the guidance. So first of all, what is wrong? What is wrong with parents being permissive and letting things slide when your child is struggling with FND? Well, really, nothing is wrong. This is not about right or wrong. It is purely about how is this helping? How is this helping to resolve your child's FND? Look, if you are permissive parents to begin with and your child has been doing just fine, and even with this FND, your parenting style hasn't changed, and then your child continues to thrive and being resilient and then overcoming FND, great, congrats. You don't need to do anything different. However, if you are like all of the families that I work with whose teenage child has been diagnosed with FND, then they're struggling. They're literally struggling because your child wakes up in the morning and saying, I don't feel good. I don't feel like I can go to school. Now you're stuck. What do? Are you going to force your child to just, go to school no matter what? Or you can just say, yeah, sure, you can just stay home all day and I hope you can catch up, or maybe you can rest and then feel better. But what if this tendency continues to happen for days and weeks and months, because I have seen those families like a lot? Then what do? Wouldn't you feel super frustrated and then very worried? Like, oh my gosh, what do we do? What do we do? How can we get back to our lives? So I'm going to ask you again, how is this working for you? Likely it's not, because here are the reasons why. It's actually you coming from a good place, very good intention, has unintentional consequences of unfortunately mismanaging the symptoms of FND. FND itself is a chronic condition. Therefore, you cannot treat FND like an acute illness, like a virus and cold, where your child can rest as long as they want, as long as they need, until they get better and then they get back to their life. That doesn't work with FND. In fact, if you do the exact same application as if this is an acute illness, then I guarantee you FND is continue to stay in your child's system. Why? Because it creates this perpetuating identity and the perception that there is nothing your child can do and neither can you. And also this creates in turn this victim role in child's perception. Like, well, there's nothing I can do. I can't really control my body and therefore I can't do anything. How is this empowering to resolve FND? Nothing. It's quite the opposite, right? So for that reason, mismanaging the symptoms as if this is an acute symptom and then you letting things slide doesn't necessarily help towards a recovery. Also, for you and your child, it also creates this parent-child dynamic of somewhat of a codependence. And again, depending on each other is not a bad idea. I'm not saying, you should be like a cold parent, a cold-hearted parent. That's not what I'm saying. However, if you are constantly managing your child's symptom, first of all, it's very tiring. And number two, it also creates this dynamic that your child continues to rely on something or someone else to fix the problem for them. Then again, we're moving away from your child having the empowerment, which is absolutely one of the two ingredients that your child has to have in order to resolve from FND. Therefore, we all need to work towards a recovery instead of being away from the resolution of FND, right? So that is what's up. That is why this mismanagement of symptoms by letting things slide and being permissive doesn't necessarily work. So what can you say instead? Well, here are some ideas. I'm going to give you 3 steps of what you can do differently if you have been one of those good parents who have hard time setting boundaries. Number 1, you in yourself have to have a reset conversation within yourself, meaning, okay, this isn't working. Therefore, I need to do something different. So you have to commit to doing things differently. Okay? And number 2, you have to continue to focus on connecting with your child, but also start having boundaries and expectations. So depending on how your child has been functioning so far with FND, you can start low and slow, like, okay, starting today, you're going to be going back to school gradually but surely. That is an absolute minimum commitment that you have to make. You can set that boundary and expectation as a parent because you are showing yourself as a sturdy leader rather than sort of like a blind leading the blind situation, okay? So be strong. Again, that's why it's really important to have the step 1 of having the reset conversation within yourself as a parent, and then come up with the clear boundaries and expectations as a parent while focusing on connecting. So it's not about I am right, you're wrong kind of situation, but really connecting with your child through validation, and you are showing how you can be the leader in the situation. And then step 3 is to communicate that boundaries and expectations with your child. You can't just like suddenly change without having the communication, then your child is likely to be confused, like, hello, what's going on here, right? So definitely have the reset conversation, the communication. Hey, we have been working really hard to help you, but it's not working. Therefore, we need to do something different. And what we are going to do different is ABC. You just lay out the expectations and boundaries and what you're hoping your child would be doing. And again, you set the parameter and then let your child pick based on the parameter that you set. So then your child is more likely to have the responsibility, ownership, and then empowerment to do those things. So that is the first step of 3 things you can do to change the dynamics of this parent-child codependency and mismanagement of the symptoms. Now, that being said, just changing this dynamic isn't going to magically resolve the FND symptoms the next day. it is a chronic condition, which means it takes a bit of a marathon to get to the resolution or having a lot of progress, right? However, this is a great place to start. Now, if you are ready and your bright teenagers are both ready to work as a team to commit to resolving FND and chronic pain symptoms through step-by-step actionable solutions, then you might be a good fit for my program. Make sure to click the link below to schedule a call to talk to me today so then we can figure out if you qualify for the program. Now, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.